It's time for Lefties Losing It, and we've already brought you footage of a brave woman, Tish Hyman, who took a stand against male bodies in the women's change rooms at Gold's Gym. She had a membership terminated for speaking out, and now the man who was watching her naked in the locker room and probably dangling his doodle around, well, he's now getting a platform on TMZ. Watch these clowns pretend this dude is a woman.
One of the people that that Tish says she confronted in the locker room, her name is Alexis Black, and she's joining us now. Alexis, welcome to TMZ Live.
Hi. It says female on my ID and hormones, and I mean, I'm registered as a female with the gym. So.
And were you at that moment, because she told us about a couple of different encounters, were you fully clothed at that moment?
Well, she has become aggressive with me on 4 different occasions, actually at different locations in Los Angeles at Gold's Gym. But fully clothed. I believe I was enrobed in a towel on one occasion.
Shame on you, TMZ, you weak, pitiful men. And a reminder, it was TMZ staff who were laughing and cheering when they heard Charlie Kirk died, and then they lied about it, about being some car chase that we're watching. Yeah, that got debunked pretty quick. Now, here is something that is going to set off lefties losing it everywhere. This is possibly the biggest sporting superstar in the world, and he's praising Donald Trump.
President Trump, a friend of mine, was given a CR7 shirt, and you wrote on it, "To President Donald J. Trump, playing for peace." What did you mean by that?
He's one of the guys that can change or help to change the world.
Cristiano Ronaldo is too big to be cancelled. Now let's hear from some dude in a dress, some dude in woman's face, getting irate and verbally attacking a woman dressed as a Native American for Halloween. Dude, mind your business.
She's dressed as a Native American.
Are you trans? Is that a costume or is that how you are? Huh?
Do I look trans?
A little bit.
You look trans.
But it's also Halloween. I look trans?
Why don't you just mind your own business? I'm not even talking to you. I don't give a fuck what you're talking.
You're offended? You're offended, but you're dressed up like a girl.
Gotta say, I love the look on her face, pure disdain, and good on those blokes who stood up for that woman, but our male Karen wasn't done yet.
Do girls have beards?
Well, when they take hormones and shit, they get them.
I will. I said what I had to say.
Yeah, you said it. Now you can do
She can talk for herself too, guys.
She clearly doesn't want to because you're fucking disrupting her diet.
Dude, worry about chewing with your mouth open instead of trying to police other people's Halloween outfits. Now to a woman who essentially lied for a living as White House press secretary every day, telling the world that Joe Biden was cognitively sound. Well, she's still pushing that lie. That's when she's not telling us that she's black and queer. And it seems Jean-Pierre is none too pleased with people noticing how often she mentions that.
Pisses me off that people who have not walked in my shoes, who have no idea who really I am as a person, get to tell me how I get to identify myself.
Jake?
So it's like,
shut up.
I was like, you can't tell me how I get to identify myself. You can't tell me how I get to call myself. Like, screw you. Like, that's not okay.
Oh, Corinne, no one is telling you how to describe yourself. We are just letting you know it's asinine and tiresome when you do this when answering just about any question.
Black woman, as a person who's also LGBTQ. As a black woman, I am a black woman, I am a queer woman, I am an immigrant. Being a black woman, as a black woman myself, that is the thing that I understood as a Black woman is that I meant a lot to people because of the communities that I represented. And whether it was women of color, Black women, queer community, LGBTQ community, immigrant, and as a Black woman, and I have my queerness too.
Now, we've featured many liars and gaslighters on this program, but once again, Jennifer Welch manages to outdo the most objectionable spreaders of misinformation and hate with this latest diatribe on President Trump, who apparently is suffering cognitive decline. This is the left's favourite tactic, accusing their opponents of what they're guilty of. Joe Biden was as sharp as a tack, but it's Donald Trump who has dementia.
We have an incompetent, dementia-ridden running the United States of America right now. He is so over his skis. It is so abundantly obvious. Shame on corporate media or any media that isn't covering this absolute mental decline, the likes of which the world has never seen. This person should not have nuclear weapons. He got lost in Japan while the Japanese prime minister was walking him in basically a square. He couldn't follow the instructions.
All they do is lie, and it gets better. She then claims that the man who has brokered 8 peace deals in his second term doesn't understand foreign policy.
And because he absolutely does not understand foreign policy, he ends up sending out on his social media platform.
And Jennifer Welch was celebrating Zohran Mamdani's big win overnight, but she was upset there were so many white people at the victory party, seriously. And she also had this to say. She said, Americans have no culture.
Americans have no culture except for multicultural. Well said. And we need to teach people how to embrace that. These crusty white people need to learn how to embrace it.
You know, I've been writing for years about the unholy alliance between the left and Islamists. And sadly for Jennifer, she's too dumb to realise how that will end. Let's have a look at some objectionable lefties, Mehdi Hassan, Hassan Piker, Mahmoud Khalil and Jamal Bowman, regulars on this segment, hugging and carrying on. Sadly for Jennifer, she wasn't invited to this.
We got Mahmoud Khalil here. Mahmoud Khalil here. And he voted 5 times. Jamal Bowman. He voted illegally 5 times.
And Zohran Mamdani was eager to lean into the racial politics during his victory speech. Listen to him just recounting racial stereotypes here.
I speak of Yemeni bodega owners and Mexican abuelas, Senegalese taxi drivers and Uzbek nurses, Trinidadian line cooks and Ethiopian aunties. Yes, aunties.
And Zohran Mamdani proved to us all that he's not some dangerous commie by starting his victory speech by quoting a commie. Yes, New York, you suicidally stupid lunatics, what have you done?
The sun may have set over our city this evening, but as Eugene Debs once said, I can see the dawn of a better day for humanity. For as long as we can remember, the working people of New York have been told by the wealthy and the well-connected that power does not belong in their hands.
The wealthy and the well-connected, they're the ones that were backing you, including billionaire George Soros and his failed son, Alex. Talk about unearned privilege and power. Now let's hear from some New Yorkers on why they backed Mamdani. Get ready to be regaled by keen intellects and deep knowledge of politics.
Do you support Zohran?
Yeah, he seems cool.
What makes him ready to be New York's mayor?
He sounds like he's like a Power Rangers character, so.
I mean, is anybody really ever ready to be mayor?
What makes Mamdani qualified to be mayor?
I don't
think at this point it's necessarily a question of who's qualified.
Obama had very little experience, and Obama did very well.
He's just a really likable guy.
What makes him ready to be mayor?
I don't know.
Why is he ready? I feel like he's like answering.
It never really takes like the most experience.
I don't know what it takes to be a mayor, so how can I really say if somebody else is qualified?
Yeah, Spanish.
Mamdani?
Yeah.
He's been a rapper. He's about to run a $115 million budget tomorrow.
Really, New York, you're almost beyond parody. And talking about parody, how good are these guys?
Hey folks, we are Xander and Fee, and we are looking for a seed oil-free roommate to share in our gender-expansive abode in Oakland. Xander is an intuitive fermentation coach, and I am an ancestral fire maker. Xander is gluten-free, so we do not have Wi-Fi in the home. You must be comfortable with guests, as our dwelling is a soft landing pad for decolonial healers and neurospicy artists of all ethnicities. No pets, please, as we already have 6 cats, 4 of whom pee freely. The ideal roommate is unbound by capitalist temporality, as our tantric howling practice keeps us up late into the night, especially during high tide. We will be holding a silent open house this Sunday from 3 to 5. Due to Xander's sensitivities, we ask that you show up fasted and fragrance-free. Many blessings. Just kidding.
Now let's go to CNN and watch the host here allow Zohran Mamdani to lie without challenge, to muddy the waters about money for the White House ballroom, which is not taxpayer funded, and money for food stamps, which is.
Clearly see that Donald Trump is threatened by our campaign. He's threatened by it because, like his, we've diagnosed the crisis in working class New Yorkers' lives, the cost of living. But unlike him, we're actually going to deliver on that. And that is a contrast that he can't bear to see. Because while he is spending $300 million remodeling a White House ballroom, the same amount of money that could provide SNAP benefits for 100,000 New Yorkers, he's trying to make it harder for Americans across the country to actually afford groceries. And this money that we're talking about, it's money that New York City is owed. It's not Donald Trump's to decide which city or state will get what money. This is the money that New Yorkers are owed, and this is the money that we're going to fight for.
Zohran thinks Donald Trump is scared of him. Just look how terrified the president is. This is him at the American Business Forum in Miami earlier today. Terrified, clearly terrified. Joining me now is political advisor and commentator CJ Pearson. CJ, I want to hear from you about what the Trump administration will do to help persecuted Christians in Nigeria. But let's start with Mamdani, and the president had this to say about a communist taking over New York City.
But the communists, Marxists, socialists, and globalists had their chance, and they delivered nothing but disaster. And now let's see how a communist does in New York. We're going to see how that works out. And we'll help him. We'll help him. We want New York to be successful.
CJ, Donald Trump actually thinks politically this is a win for Republicans. It might be a whole lot of pain for New Yorkers, though, but it will serve as a warning to other cities and states.
You know, you're exactly right, Rita. And sometimes the most important lessons learned are the hardest ones to learn. And I think that will be the case that New York City has to endure, unfortunately. But I'll tell you this, you know, what we do know historically is that everywhere that communism and socialism has been experimented with, it has failed. It has been a failed experiment. And so I think President Trump is right on in his prediction. I think the people of New York City will soon realize just what they bought and paid for here. But I got to tell you, as someone from the South, we don't want them to flee and come down south to escape their problems, especially if they're going to bring their politics with them.